Hello all, welcome to my channel. My name is A-Aron, and today we're going to talk about the SAAS Apocalypse is here. So, SaaS stands for Software as a Service, and a lot of these software as a service companies lately, within the last couple months, have been obliterated, some more than 60-70%. And there's a whole list of stocks that are getting hurt by the AI, artificial intelligence, that's coming our direction. And so I want to give a video here to try to evaluate these stocks, these software stocks, and seeing if there's any values that I could find from doing my own research, and like what metrics do I decide whether a software as a service stock is one to buy or one to not buy or sell. So, start with talking about the AI disruption. So, I have these metrics to evaluate software as service stocks that I put together. These are all bullet points. So, one thing to consider is switching cost. So, you can have a high or low switching cost. So, this would mean like is the contract seat based or usage based? So that's one question that you consider. Basically, seat based means that the contract is based on each user that has its specific license to the product, and usage based means that it's how much you use the product, like how much memory or how much CPU you use to in the software, and you get a cost based on that. So most of the contracts, like for a stock like big stock like ServiceNow or Salesforce, are seat based products. Okay, and anything with a lot of these AI are a lot of software stocks are usage based as well. Now, you could say that if a software stock is seat based, so each person would have their own license, they would probably be a lot more disrupted than a usage based compared to AI. So I do think there is some cost to be said that they could be saved by going against the software that has seat based rather than usage based. And that is one question that I have with switching cost. Another thing I have with switching cost, another question you should ask is, will the application or applications that you have with the current software switch to another software be worth the cost? If I go from one software to another software, is it really time? Is it worth the time and trouble to transition all of your software over to another software, or is it best just to keep it where it's at? Okay, so that's another question. Another question is there a learning curve to these end users? Is software used by multiple vendors? So if you're going from one software to another software, if your users and workers are used to, like, say, a Salesforce, and they're used to the workflow integration, they're used to all the different technical tips and tricks of moving around to get work done, then there's going to be a huge learning curve if you have to go to some AI type stock that you would have to your workers would have to learn new things. Okay, is the software used by multiple vendors? Because that could get really complicated too. If you have your software with vendor A, B, and C, and those vendors that you work with don't like the way they're used to the software the way it is too, that could also be a learning curve to them. So it can get really complex when you start thinking about, as a business person, to make a decision whether you go stay with the course or go with the other course. Okay. And so the next question would be, do the application's data, this would be the actual numbers within the actual data that's kept within the software, and that would be your application data. Does that data need to be near 100% accuracy? Meaning, if an AI agent came in, would it have to be 100% accuracy? Would it actually what would the repercussions be with a AI agent that would make it like 75% accurate? Okay, that data is 75% accurate. What would do now? Let's take for example like a stock like Axon, AXON, in which I am an owner of that stock. If you take that example of that stock, they're involved with keeping track of evidence, you know, really important evidence that they have to keep. So that's something that could be used for a court hearing. So it's very important that that stuff is accurate and good quality data, good integrity data that it needs. Now, for example, like let's say a business that is in the medical field. Okay, well, that data would need to be 100% accurate because it could be life or death depending on what patients you have and everything else. So that's very important. That we don't want an AI agent to come in and dictate what kind of medicines that person gets, all that type of medication. So that's very good question to ask. And then what is the customer support for that software? So a lot of the software as service stocks right now, the reason why they go with a ServiceNow or a Salesforce is because of the customer support, right? So a lot of people can build their software in-house, but why would you want to do that if you could just piggyback on something that has been all the interfaces have been designed a certain way where they have all the support that you call them and you get support from Salesforce or ServiceNow. Because why would you want to have your own in-house support to making fixes like when we do upgrades and the business changes? You wouldn't have to have all your in-house workers doing that kind of thing when you could just pay a monthly fee to a Salesforce or ServiceNow, right? So I think you really need to think about the customer support. Okay, now if you go to some AI startup company, let's say, and it does the same thing as ServiceNow or Salesforce does, they may not have the customer support like they would have because they've got a huge customer base and they have a lot of customers and they have the people there to help you, right? Okay, so a second topic I want to talk about is integrations. So this is meaning that if you have a business, right, a stock, and you have a business, and if it's integrated with hardware, or integrated with networks, or integrated with multiple vendors, it's very hard for an AI to disrupt those type of companies, okay? So, if it's all interrelated and the data is proprietary, and let's talk about like a stock like Axon, right? So they have body armor, that's their hardware, and it's also integrated with their software called evidence.com. And all of that hardware is integrated with their software. So it makes it very difficult for an AI to come in and just replicate that because it's all integrated into this huge ecosystem, right? So that is one thing to consider with networks. If you need a certain cloud provider to do your network, then it's going to make it very hard for an AI to disrupt it. Now, all I can say is I just thought of this was if you, let's just say you have a business that's long going and any new applications that you're thinking about wanting, right? Anything new, you may want that business may want to go to an AI provider or something to do with AI to do the kinds of things they want to do as a pilot or an attempt to see if they could do things that way. But then again, you got to look at all these factors here to determine if that's right for your business to go take that risk as an AI to do the kinds of things you need to do, right? Um, I also want to talk about a little bit about a stock called Adobe. Okay, so Adobe is ADBE. That's the stock symbol, and that company makes software, but a lot of their software it's not AI generated. Now they are slowly adding AI pieces to their platform. I believe it's called Anno. That's one of the things they're using AI for. But I think AI, by using AI and like for streaming content and creating images and creating videos, AI is exceptional at doing those types of things, right? So uh, I was just looking at this last night, and you could just have a prompt, put exactly what you want. Let's just say I want to build a character. I can say I want a happy character. I want a middle-aged character. I want somebody that wears this dress, wears this clothes. Somebody that wears one shoe. You can tell all that within a prompt, and when you hit generate, it will generate that character for you. And I just think it's at the point now where these software companies are at the beginning stages of AI, and it's really something to look forward to because that could hurt their Adobe's business big time if one of these thousands of companies that are coming out AI now develops this customer base, and if they start developing customer bases, then it could really impact Adobe the way they do things. So I think it's very something to look forward to. I know right now with these AI companies doing these prompts and generating these storylines and cartoons and things like that is a lot of the money right now. It's very expensive to actually generate this on your own, right? There is a lot of cost to do this. Like it might be $2 to generate one generation, right? Instead of being able to go in there unlimited and do whatever you want, generate whatever you want, they charge you these fees, and it can get pricey unless you're like a rich or you got a huge business of your own. It makes it very difficult for small entrepreneurs and people to take advantage of that. So that's exactly what I want to talk about today. I do want to mention that I am a computer programmer, so I do we do have ServiceNow in our business right now, and we are using now. I don't know all the details of the actual language itself, but I even went in there today, even, and so I do think there's specific. ServiceNow is very. I believe ServiceNow is going to be a great stock, and I'm already invested in ServiceNow, and which is NOW stock symbol, and Salesforce, which is CRM stock symbol right now. And I do have I do have some Adobe as well. So thank you all for watching, and continue watching my channel. And I'm going to be posting a lot more videos coming up. So thank you, and have a great weekend, everybody.